On December 13th, 1928, this small paragraph appeared in the Key West Citizen. The Turtelino hunting crowd killed a large deer yesterday on No Name Key. The deer was killed by Eddie Marquez and weighed 90 pounds. Mr. Marquez is the latest one of the crowd to meet success in the hunting expeditions carried on by the Turtelino Organization. When I saw this paragraph, this one paragraph, it made me sick to think about our beautiful key deer being stalked and hunted. So it sent me searching to find out more about why hunting expeditions were allowed in the Florida Keys. As it turns out, there's a long history of deer hunting in the Florida Keys. It flourished in the Keys in the 1930s. Most of the deer hunters were Cubans. They were former cigar makers from Key West who use explorades, the Spanish equivalent of hunting guides. It was one of those explorades, a man named Turtelino, who caught the legendary Aeroplano. He was a tiny deer so fast that he seemed to fly, and he eluded hunters for nearly 10 years before he was finally bagged on Big Torch Key. The explorades had a profound knowledge of the ways of the deer. They learned that the creatures always fed on the windward side of the Keys, where the wind kept the mosquitoes away. The key deer is a subspecies, a smaller version of the Virginia whitetail, less than 3 feet high at the shoulder. A buck averages 65 to 80 pounds, a doe about 40 pounds. Over many years, the deer has adapted to the aquatic world of the Keys. By the 1930s, hunting had depleted the number of key deer to 20. In 1939, the Florida legislature banned deer hunting in the Keys. Since then, the efforts of many conservationists and agencies have helped the tiny deer make a comeback. The effort culminated in 1963 with the dedication of the National Key Deer Refuge. The saving of the key deer from total extinction is generally credited to one man, Jack Watson. In 1946, Mr. Watson became an officer for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and quickly became the key deer's best friend, realizing not only how adorable but also how precariously close to extinction they were. He declared a one-man war on poachers and used whatever tactics were necessary. These included disabling their car with bullets to the engine or a gas tank, or setting their boats on fire. He also spent much time educating the government and public about the deer, and in 1957, when the Key Deer Refuge was finally established, although they were saved by a hair from extinction, the deer were then confronted with major habitat losses during the 1960s, 70s, and 80s due to human expansion and construction. Gradually, but the key deer was officially put on the endangered species list in 1967, and it remains there today. The major reason is closely linked to its very limited habitat range. Existing population estimates hover around 800 in mid-2017. However, the vast majority are concentrated on Big Pine and No Name Keys, 2 islands located right next to each other, encompassing less than 12 square miles total. The key deer also faced a screwworm epidemic in 2016, where approximately 10% of the herd was lost to the horrible screwworm outbreak. A year later, the key deer had to survive Hurricane Irma. Although No Name Key and Big Pine were declared mandatory evacuation areas, some residents refused to evacuate. Whether you were here or whether you were evacuated, we all couldn't wait to hear whether the herd had survived the storm. Those first reports of key deer sighting after Irma came through were amazing. We all rejoiced. Since the screwworm outbreak, activists have taken things into their own hands and formed nonprofits to help save the key deer, comprised of key deer lovers, protectors, advocates, and watchers. One of those groups formed is saveourkeydeer.org. If you haven't checked it out, that is their website, saveourkeydeer.org. You can find out the entire history of the key deer. Even as heartbreaking as it was to read that they were once poached and hunted in the Florida Keys, I'm now proud that we've decided to honor them and their heritage here and protect them. So if you want to help this part of Keys history survive, you can visit saveourkeydeer.org and contribute and donate. One of the things the group is working on now is being able to get permission and licenses to properly rehabilitate deer that may be injured or hurt so that the population can remain strong. I highly recommend you follow them on Facebook, Save Our Key Deer, and visit saveourkeydeer.org. It's a great way to help preserve this historical part of our Keys history. So I'm proud to say that while disturbing as it was, that today, December the 13th, 1928, reported a deer kill from a hunting expedition on No Name Key, I'm even more thrilled that we no longer have to worry about that. And that's what happened today in Key West history. Today in Key West history is brought to you by 43 Keys Media. To learn more about our glorious or disturbing past of the Florida Keys, visit 43keys.com. You can get this program and others as an Alexa flash briefing. Just ask Alexa to play Today in Key West History as your flash briefing.